the holiday companion you never knew you needed. Hey there, and welcome to the Totally Fierce Crochet channel. My name is Thomas. Now, what comes to mind when we think about summer holidays? The beach, of course, because life's the beach and there's nothing better than the beach. But when we think about beach, in my case, I always have to collect seashells. And let's be honest, is there anything more fun than walking around the beach and collecting seashells or stones or whatever you might find? Oops. And I always have the same problem, where to put those seashells. You carry them in your hands, everything gets full of sand and messy. You try to wash them in the sea, but again, then they are wet. Where to put them? And here's the solution: a little seashell bag where you can easily put all your seashells in. Close it. You can even dip it like this into the water to clean it up. Throw it around a bit, all the sand falls down, and you can hang it out in the sun to dry and take it back home with you. You can make them in any color, with stripes, and in whatever size you might like. Now, the main inspiration for my crochet seashell bag comes from my dear friend Christina, who makes these beautiful seashell art pieces. Aren't they just absolutely adorable? Of course I had to get myself 2 of them. And she collects the seashells in Portugal at the beach. I have no idea how she manages it to find similar color tones and shapes, but in the end she arranges them in such a beautiful way as true art pieces for your home. I'm going to link her profile in the description below. Her handle is Calendar Stories, and she also has an Etsy store. Make sure to follow her on Instagram or on Etsy. I don't even know if you can follow people there, but no matter what, follow her. She's a super talented graphic designer, a previous colleague of mine. We managed so many projects together. I can highly recommend her. Her work is just stunning and I'm in love with it. But now let's make ourselves a beautiful crochet seashell bag. And of course, you know the drill. Before we start, just take a sec, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So in order to make yourself such a beautiful crochet seashell bag that you can take with you on the beach while collecting seashells, of course you need some yarn. I highly recommend you to use a cotton yarn because that makes it easier then also to wash it and clean it or dry it up in the sun. I'm going to use a French cotton 8/6 100% cotton yarn. It's from Hobby, of course. They say we would need a crochet hook size 3.5 to 4 millimeters. For the main part of my seashell bag, I'm going to use this lavender color. And then for the top border and the strap, I'm going to use this darker purple. And then, of course, the crochet hook, I'm going to use a 4 millimeter hook, just that it's a bit more soft and meshy. Then you would need a yarn needle and of course some scissors, and you're good to go. So we start again with a magic circle or magic ring. I'm going to use option 1 of my tutorial about how to master the magic ring, and this goes as follows. You do as if you would do a slip knot like this. You're not closing it, you're keeping this little hole here in the center. You take the yarn end, pull the yarn end through, and now you can close the slip knot. Don't worry if it gets very long here, you can just close it again. And we are good to go. And here's the magic ring. And now we start with a fake double crochet. And we go into the ring, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through, 2 loops on your hook, you yarn over and pull through both of the loops. Now you basically made a single crochet. Then you go into that front bar, grab the yarn, pull it through, pull everything up, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops, and you just created your fake double crochet. Next we are going to make 1 real double crochet. So you yarn over, go in the magic ring, grab the yarn, pull it through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and you made your first double crochet. And then we are going to chain 1, and this for this tutorial is going to be our first cluster, our first segment. So always 2 double crochets and a chain 1. And for round 1 we are going to need 5 in total, so we're going to make 4 more. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and a chain 1, and the same thing again. So here we go. Now I have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we can also close the magic ring. Pull it tight. And now what we can do is, because now we are going to close the first round and then we go directly into the next round, we can release that last chain here, because we are now going to make a slip stitch in the top of our fake double crochet. And since the slip stitch always creates a little bit of space, we can then basically replace it with, or we can basically replace the chain 1 with the slip stitch and it wouldn't even show. So we are now going to go in the top of our fake double crochet, go through both of the loops, grab the yarn, pull it through, and slip stitch to close it. And now what we are going to do is, in each of our clusters we make the same cluster again, and in between our 5 clusters we do 1 full cluster. So in total now we have 5. After the next round we are going to have 10 clusters, and the first one again is to start with a fake double crochet. So we go back into that same stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, and yarn over and pull through 2. This can be a bit tight around here, but it's alright. And once you have the single crochet, you go back into that front loop, pull it through, pull everything up, and here you go, you have your first fake double crochet. Then we make the next double crochet into the top of the previous round like this, and then we chain 1. And then we are going to make 1 full segment or 1 full cluster into that chain 1 space from round number 1. So we make 2 double crochets all in there, followed by a chain 1. Then we are here at this next cluster. So we are going to make our first double crochet in the top of the previous double crochet, and the same with the next stitch. and we chain 1, and then we are at our next space right here, and we just make another cluster in there with 2 double crochets and a chain 1. And like this, we go all the way through until we reach the end of the round. So here we go. We should now have 10 clusters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Here's our fake double crochet where we started. And to close the round, we do it exactly the same way. We don't chain 1. We go into that loop or into that stitch, that top stitch from the fake double crochet. You go in there and slip stitch to close the round. And then we can start directly with round number 3. Round number 3 is a little bit different because all the other rounds are basically all the same, with that same cluster that we do with the 2 double crochets and the chain 1. For the next round, in every space in between the 2 double crochets, we are going to make a single or just 1 double crochet and a chain 1 space. But I'll show you how. Let's start again with the fake double crochet. So we go back into that same stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops to create a single crochet, and then go into that front bar, grab the yarn, don't lose it like I did, pull everything up and pull it through. Then we go in the top of the next stitch and make our next double crochet in there. Then we chain 1. The previous round, when we had a space, we made like the exact same cluster, but here we are going to reduce the cluster by 1 double crochet, so we just make 1 double crochet and a chain 1, and then the rest is the same. In the next stitch we make another double crochet on top and the second double crochet, and then we chain 1, and then we are at our next space here where we just make 1 double crochet in there, followed by a chain, and then we continue like we had it before, and we do this all the way through. Here's the next space. We make just 1 double crochet and a chain 1. And here we go. We have our little circle. We still have some holes here and there to keep this meshy seashell look, and it even looks a little bit like a shell. So we continue with round number 4, and round number 4 is pretty simple. We make double crochets where we had double crochets in the previous round, and whenever we reach to that part where we just made 1 double crochet in the previous round, we make 2 double crochets on top of that 1 double crochet and all the way through. So again, we close the round by making a slip stitch in the top of our fake double crochet, just like this, and then we go back in and just make another fake double crochet right on top of it, just like we did it before. And here we go, and then we make a double crochet in the next stitch, we chain 1, and then here we had just 1 double crochet, so we are going to make 2 in the same stitch. This was the first one, and for the second one we go directly into the same stitch, chain 1, and then we have 2 more double crochets, chain 1, and here's our next lonely double crochet, and we are going to make a second in the same stitch, always followed by a chain 1, and we do this all the way through to complete the bottom of our crochet seashell bag. Here we go, our base of the bag is done. Woohoo! Now this last round basically represents the next 14 rounds, basically, because we always have this cluster of 2 double crochets and a chain 1 all the way through. The only difference is that we are only going to be working in the back loops from now on. That will help to keep all the double crochets in the same line, and it looks super pretty. So to do that, what we are going to do, we are going to close our 4th round now, and we do it the same way like we did it before. We go into the top of our fake double crochet, grab the yarn, pull it through, and we just make a slip stitch. And then when you turn your work a little bit, you see the stitch where we worked the slip stitch in. We are now going only back into that back loop right here. Grab the yarn, make a single crochet, and then go in the front loop and make our first fake double crochet. So like that, you get like a cleaner edge here, because now when we are going to work in the back loops only, you definitely will see a little border here, or a little edge here, and that makes the pattern so pretty, in my opinion. So we yarn over and go in the back loop and make our next double crochet. Then we chain 1. So we do basically exactly the same that we did in the previous round. So you always know where you're at. So when you had a double crochet in the previous round, we make a double crochet right on top in that back loop only. And when there's a space, of course, we make a chain 1. And we do this all the way through. Here we go. It starts to go up a little bit already, which is fine. And here you can also see that border around it, or that little edge that we get by going in the back loops only. And as you can see, the double crochets are perfectly aligned. The symmetry is on point. The holes are where the holes should be, and it just looks super pretty already. So we can continue with the next round. And again, we don't chain 1. We go into the top of our fake double crochet and slip stitch, and then we turn our work and go in that back loop only, and this is exactly where we are going to make our fake double crochet or stacked single crochet. Call it like you want. We make the fake double crochet in there in the back loop, and the rest again is the same. always in the back loops 2 double crochets followed by a chain 1 all the way through. And we do this now we have 2 rounds complete. For my bag I make 15 rounds in total, so I have 13 more to go. When I say rounds, I mean starting from that first full round here, which was 1, 2, 3, round number 4. So this counts for me as 1. This is 2. Now I'm working on 3. And once I have 15, I'll see you back so we can make the shells on top of our bag, and then it's just the strap. And you're good for holidays, basically. So I'll see you then. Welcome back. So I just finished 15 rounds with 20 clusters each, and here's how it looks like. Super soft. It just looks so beautiful. Very summery. And now we can close the round, our last one. Of course, you can make your seashell bag bigger, smaller, longer. It's completely up to you. If you want to have a bigger bag, make sure to add another round in the bottom, and then of course adapt the height of your bag. But personally, I think this size is quite nice. And now we can close our last round with this lavender color, and we do this like we did it before. We go in the top of our fake double crochet and just slip stitch, and now we can cut the yarn and grab our next color. For the shell border and the way how we connect the second color on it is very simple. We put the new color right over our hook and then pull it through. Make sure to tighten up the first color that you used, in my case the lavender, and then to connect the new color we are just going to make a single crochet right over it like this. And now we can start with the shells, and for the shells we are going to make 5 double crochets in that chain 1 space here before then connecting the shell in the space right after that, and then again 5 double crochets and so on. So we start the first shell, 5 double crochets, all in that chain 1 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we go right into the next chain 1 space here and just make a single crochet before moving on to the next space. And we do this all the way right until we are back at the beginning, and I'll see you there. So once you reach the end, we just make another single crochet in there, and then we can cut the yarn over again, pull it through, and what I then also usually do is that I go right in here and take the yarn in, and the rest we are going to do when we sew in the yarn ends. Here's how the border now looks. Just like pretty little shells. And now before we continue with the strap or the string, we are going to sew in all the ends, so we don't have to worry about them in the end. And I'm going to start with the one in the bottom. Usually the magic ring should be able to, or should stay locked and safe, but it never hurts to go back into a few of those stitches and just pull the yarn through like that, and then we can cut it already. And then we only have this yarn end up here. And usually what I do is that I just simply go somewhere in there and go along the pattern, basically. Preferably without losing the yarn all the time. And then I go back a few stitches. And I'm up here. Somewhere down here, I'm going to just leave it, the rest of it. And the same thing I'm going to do with the purple yarn. I get rid of the tunics. Okay. Well. And here we go. That was it. And now we can work on the string. And the string, I usually do this by making a foundation round, just so I have the width of the bag times 2, because then I'm going to weave it in from 2 sides. So basically we are going to need 2 strings, and the way how to do that is to pull out a bit of the yarn, leave your yarn bow on one side and the yarn end on the other side. That makes it a bit easier. Start by making a slip knot, and then we are going to alternating the yarn end and the other yarn, and we always yarn over. So you yarn over with your end yarn, and then you take the yarn that goes to your yarn ball, yarn over again, and then you pull this 3rd loop here through the 2 loops on your hook. Then again, yarn over with yarn end, yarn over with your working yarn, and you do this all along, since you have a bigger piece that would fit around your bag. Make it a little bit longer, just as a tip. We can later on then adjust the length easily. Don't necessarily have to count. If you want to count the stitches, then feel free to do it. Alright, this should be enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm counting downwards to, I don't know, 3 or 4 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's where we started. Then I go 5 downwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right here is then my first hole to work in. You can also use this one, or I think personally it's a bit prettier when there's like a bit of a longer part on top. And we are going to place it in our string, just so that the end part sticks out a little bit. Then we are going to go 2 up here and pull the string through. Then here we have 2 as well. Then we are 2 more here. And then here's basically the other side of our bag. What we are going to do here is that we only leave 1 space here and then go 2 all the way. So later on for the other string, we will add it right here. And then we do the exact same thing, just reverse. Go in here, and then we have 2 and 1, 2, 2. And then we end up in the same hole like we were on where we started, trying to align everything a little bit, but it will align later on anyway. And what we are going to do now is to connect those 2, and in the same way also making the little end shell. If you feel like this is a bit too long, you can still like adjust it. a little bit so that it's a bit closer. And the way how to connect it is actually pretty easy. We are just going to go in the very first foundation stitch that we made, and we are going to just go in there and slip stitch through it, and then we make a chain 3. I can't believe I'm saying that, but for that shell at the end of the string, it's absolutely fine to make a chain 3, because we don't have to do like fake double crochets all the time if we don't really need them. And for this shell, it doesn't make a big difference anyway, because now we are going to make a few treble crochets, and we will do 7 treble crochets all in that same stitch where we placed also our slip stitch. And for the treble crochet, yarn over twice, go in that space, grab the yarn, pull it through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and 6 more. Yarn over twice, go in there, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Such a pretty shell. And then we are going to chain 3 again. You can now cut the yarn, and we take the yarn through, pull everything to the front to close it. And now what we are going to do is that we just wrap it around a few times. And we also had that other yarn piece. We can take that up now as well and move it around in the other direction, so we can incorporate both of the yarn ends all at once. And at some point, once you have made a few rounds around it, you can then also just make a double knot with both of them and make everything nice and tight to secure it. And then I'm going to grab my yarn needle what I'm going to do is to try to get through some of these stitches. I know this is going to be very, very tight. But that just means that it will all be quite safe and stored nicely in there. And we can cut it. Yep. And here we go. Our little shell is done. So we have to make another one. Ta-da! Here it is. And we do exactly the same thing. We are just going to go to the opposite side of our first one here and everything else is the same. So we put it in, and then skip to in there. And when we reach the other shell here, we just skip one and then go over and I think it should work. We don't have to open things up. And we can make the last shell like we did it before. We go in and slip stitch through it, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we make our 7 treble crochets all in the same stitch. And once you have them, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, cut the yarn, pull the yarn through, and we can start wrapping around. That one's super tight. Jeez. Getting there. I mean, this knot will probably never open ever again. But that's alright, because we are at the end of our crochet seashell bag. Here's how it looks like, and now when you take the ears of this little man here, if I do it like this, it even does look like a minion. And when you pull on the ears, you can close it. Of course, you can make a little knot on top or in the front, and here you go. You have your beautiful crochet seashell bag, and you're absolutely ready to hit the beach and to collect all the shells you like and put them into the bag. Put the bag into the water so you can wash out all the sand. Let everything dry, and no more messy hands and messy pockets in your shorts. You can have it there, all safe, in your crochet seashell bag. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful crochet seashell bag with me. And no more messy fingers from now on, and messy luggage because of all the sand. Put your seashells that you find at the beach in the bag, rinse it out, let it out to clean, and you're good to go. And you will have such a beautiful holiday souvenir by taking home these beautiful seashells to keep it as a memory. So this was it. Plan your next holidays, have fun this summer, and I hope to see you again next time only at the Totally Fresh Crochet channel. Bye. Hot as summer in here already.